Okay, hello, it's me. Hello, it's Jeff. Hello. Okay, so Mr. 2007 asked me to do a video kind of going through the magical green notebook of knowledge, so I'm gonna do that today. Since I finished answering questions in it, I thought now would be a good time to do so thank you for the video suggestion. So I suppose the best idea to start off is to kind of explain why I did this in the first place. People in the past have asked why I started to do YouTube, and I pretty much gave the answer that I thought was sufficient, but I kind of thought about it a little more and I kind of have a different answer. The thing that I've usually said is that I wanted to start YouTube so that I could practice kind of teaching because that's what I want to do for a job. But even before that, kind of my idea when I was really young, I'm really curious about a lot of stuff. And I was like, how can I learn about a bunch of stuff and have all that stuff documented so I can look back on it? Because I can learn things, but it's kind of hard for me to remember them if I don't have them written down somewhere. My initial thought before doing YouTube was I would just write everything down in a document on Word or something and have everything saved as a file and then get a white binder or something and put them all into different categories. But then it kind of turned into just putting it in a composition notebook that I had just laying around. Which I think if you're ever into the idea of learning stuff and writing it down, just find a notebook that you have around the house that hasn't been filled in, or you could do it on an online document. It's super easy. But seriously, I had the idea for so long, even when I was really young. I was like, I want to write stuff down that I find interesting and answer questions that I have. But now it's kind of turned into questions that I have as well as questions that other people have, and then I write them down in this. So this is the front cover. I can't exactly remember why I kind of cut off the top of it, but that's kind of how it is. But I also kind of put a little post-it note kind of flashcard thing on the front to be this is for YouTube channel ideas and plans. Hi, watch out. Toby's here now. The first ever question that I answered was, what the hey is Pingu? And I think I wrote it down that I did it on September 15th. I can't remember if that's the day that I uploaded it or the day that I wrote information down, but anyways. I also have a thing on the top that I guess was supposed to be my general intro, and it says hey everybody, welcome to What the Hey, I'm your host, let's get to it. Very original. When I first started doing the questions, I pretty much wrote everything in pencil except for the first question, but then pretty much halfway through I did it in pen because I was it doesn't fade as much. So I was looking around and I think the first question that was asked by someone other than myself was, what the hey is Kappa, Copa, however you want to say it. But it was asked by Mr. Random Dude, so hello to you and thank you for being one of the first people to ask questions and participate with this. So generally when I started to write questions down, going through the notebook, it was mainly questions of what or who, because those are pretty simple. So I started to kind of format my questions that way because those are simple questions and you usually get direct answers with what or who. And then the idea for what the hey came from my last name. If you're not aware, my last name is actually Hay, Hay, so hey. But when I was kind of coming up with the idea for the channel, when I was starting to do this whole thing, I had family members and stuff. They were oh, you could do it what the hey because it goes with your last name. And I was okay. But generally, going through the notebook, I usually, depending on the question, if it's the who the hey kind of thing, I say the person's full name, when they were born, basic information like that, and then what their major impact is or was. It honestly just depends on the question. And then in terms of how else I deal with the questions, I'll they basically usually, depending on the question, will take up around a page depending on how I format it. Some questions will have more information written down than others just because of the type of question and the answer. And then usually when I'm done with recording, editing, and uploading the video, I usually put a check mark by the question, so I know that I answered it and it's done. But that's pretty much it. It's nothing too complicated. It's just something that I started because it sounded fun and it's been fun. And I have so many other questions to answer in a new notebook. So that's so cool. So thank you all for participating with this, and I can't wait to keep doing it and answering more questions. So if you have any other questions about the notebook, let me know. But that's essentially it. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.